Hey traders, welcome back. Before we go through our performance on this particular system and look at what performed best as far as the optimization over the weeks that we tested, what I want to do is just quickly walk you through how I tested and optimized this strategy month by month and what components I optimized. So as you know, I looked at the stops, the trailing stops, the target, and time of the day. So I'll just quickly show you what I did, and then we're going to have a look at how that impacted on our performance going forward. So we started the optimization process from the 1st of July, and as you can see here, this is the data that I was looking at leading up to the 1st of July. So we had a good 6 months worth of data to look at. So what we did then is, or what I did then was basically I reduced the look back period to 4 months. So I only wanted to test 4 months at a time rolling forward. So when I say rolling forward, what that means is that I'm going to have 4 months worth of data loaded up in my format symbol, and I'm going to roll forward every 4 weeks. I'm going to re-optimize, and I'm going to keep that 4 weeks rolling forward. So basically what I'm doing is I'm dropping a month off and adding another month as I go forward. So my optimization protocol is going to be, I'm going to go into the strategy. It doesn't matter whether this is the trend, the breakout, the pennant. It doesn't really matter what strategy is, but the basic format is that I'm going to optimize my start time, end time. I'm going to choose 0 to 10:01, and it's a 3-minute chart, so it's going to be increments of 3 minutes. So I'll set that, and then I'm going to go in and optimize my start time, end time for my second session, 10:01 to 2400, 3-minute intervals. I'm going to then put in my stop optimization, 16 to 48. That's about as high as the stop I want to go, or as much as I want to risk there. Then I'm going to look at doing my target. So my target's on. My target ticks, I'm going to run it from say 20 ticks to 200, increments of 2. Then I'm going to do my ratio. The ratio target is a value target based on your stop. So if my stop is 40 points and I've got a ratio of 2, then my target's going to be 80. So we'll do -1 to say 5 with increments of 1. Then I'm going to go my minimum move on my trailing stop before the trailing stop kicks in. Then I'm going to go down to my trailing offset for my pivot. I'm going to optimize that as well, -100 to 30. These are just settings I've picked out. My MAE offset is going to be a negative value, so negative say 50 to positive 30. And then my moving average length, well, the length I'm going to go 200, say 20 to 200 with increments of say 5. Now that's a lot of inputs all at once. So normally what we would do would be optimize individual, or if you've got more time, optimize everything that you're optimizing in one hit. But what we've found is that if you do a cluster optimization, it definitely does perform better, and I'll show you that through the stats. So if we go OK here, and the default will be exhaustive. We want it set at genetic, because if you try to do an exhaustive optimization here, it's going to come back saying that the maximum number of optimization test chart analysis can perform is 10 million. So what we're currently attempting to do is a far greater number than that. So please reduce the number of tests by optimizing fewer inputs or reducing the optimization range for each input. We don't want to optimize. We don't want to reduce the optimization range, so we're going to go genetic, and we're going to go optimize. And what's happening now, this is going to take about an hour to optimize those settings, which is okay, that's fine. So we're going to optimize those settings. Now we didn't optimize days of the week because we're doing that weekly, aren't we? So the monthly optimization, now you can either do this monthly optimization individually, stops, targets, trailing stops, or you can do it in one large cluster. This seems to be working better as one large cluster of optimization for this particular strategy and for the trend trade as well. I'm going to review some of the other systems because I think this may be an improved way of doing the optimization. It'll be a little bit slower, but it'll definitely give you some good results as far as well, so far on what I've tested. But going forward, so what we've got to do now is, once this optimization finishes in an hour, we're going to roll forward our month of trading, but we're going to go through a week at a time, because we've still got to keep an eye on the days of the week. So we didn't select the days of the week to optimize here, because what will happen there is that it'll just come up with a positive or a negative value, and if it's a negative value, it'll drop that day off. Now we're being a little bit more analytical with our days of the week. We're looking at, obviously, if a day of the week is performing well, if it's not, if it's coming back and should be turned on. So at the moment for this strategy, we've got every day of the week on. So if we go to the settings, you'll see that every day of the week is on. So nothing's going to change there for now. We're going to basically optimize this, roll it forward for the month, have a look at the days of the week on a weekly basis, then re-optimize at the end of the next month. So we already know how this system performed, don't we, for this year. We already know how it went in July. It went really well in July. So if I bring up some of the stats here, you'll see that this is our optimization window here. This is what we're doing at the moment. So we're trying to find out how much money it made in July. Well, without any optimization, also the top row here is Crude 3-minute breakout, no optimization whatsoever. You can see that it produced $24,210. It did have a circuit breaker, or it did hit its drawdown in September, as you saw from the earlier training. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to come up with what is the best way to optimize going forward. Is it to do nothing and just let it hit its circuit breaker? Is it to do just optimize time of the day, just optimize the initial stop, just optimize the target, optimize the target ratio, do them independently, do the trailing stop, or is it best to do all of the settings simultaneously, and then perhaps including that would be the days of the week? Or is it better to do all the settings simultaneously and then review the days of the week on a weekly basis? So I'm going to have that answer for you shortly as we go through this optimization. But at the moment, the key winner is this $24,210. That performed with no optimization. So we developed up a high performance system, and then we've ended up with a good profit over that over those weeks that we traded it. But it did hit its circuit breaker. But that definitely wasn't the best way to run the system going forward, and we'll show you that as we go through some of these results. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through each of the months, and we're going to see exactly how each of these systems performed based on their monthly optimization.